back to the greatest teacher of all time, where I, Quincy Dawson, interview teachers of color, tout their personalities, strategies, and philosophies. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and go to greatesteacherofalltime.com to help me support more great teachers like Mr. Allen. What's good, Montrell?
Hello.
What's up? What's up? How you doing? Thank you so much for doing this with me. I saw you doing some cool things on Instagram, and I was like, he deserves to be highlighted.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Montrell, you are a first grade teacher, and this is your
Yes,
third year doing it in Mississippi. How's it going so far? It's
it's
the
going
end
pretty
of
good.
October. Sorry, I was just gonna say it's the end of October right now, so you've had a couple months in the school year. But yeah, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Actually, no complaints. Our school motto this year is where the magic begins, and we're definitely bringing the magic. I mean, this school year has been incredible. Today this week we're going to be celebrating Red Ribbon Week, and so it's been going really good with the kids. We've been able to really talk to them about how to stay drug free and everything of that matter. Um, I like the fact that our kids are more interested in learning because last year we kind of hit patches where students were not actually as motivated as they would normally be.
Mm.
I for me as a teacher, I don't know about other teachers, but for me, when I noticed that, I immediately called a parent, talk to them, see what's going on. And so far, so good. I haven't really had no problems from parents. They've been very supportive and let me know all the time, Mr. Allen, what it is that I need to do for them at home to make sure that they stay motivated. And as the months go on, we see the progress elevates even more and more. And so far this school year, it's been really incredible. I actually do enjoy it. I like the school year. I really do.
Okay, man, that's great. And talking about keeping students motivated, because you're a first grade teacher, this is
Yes.
students like first step into like the quote unquote education system, right? So I don't know, how do you feel with that pressure of getting
Um,
students to want to do school at first grade?
um, it's for me, it's not really as difficult because I come up with all types of fun stuff for them to do. Like in the morning time, I like to call it my Allen Monday. How do I say it? Because I used to change. I changed it up a lot. I think I changed the name every year, but this year I decided to do what do I call it? It's something. Oh, it's called Allen's Fun Time or Allen's Playhouse Time or something like that. And the kids just love it, but they always be wanting me to change the name every school year. Like I can't even remember what it was my first year. And it's like when they come in, they come from breakfast, and I tell them before they come in the room, use the restroom. They come in, and some of them just come in, they just be dragged. I'm like, it's time to do our playhouse time, our fun house time. And I go and put a little video of them for them and get them motivated. And not only that, I don't know if other teachers um, have heard of this, but there's a different videos of Move to Learn. It's this guy, he goes from different schools in Mississippi, and the kids really love it. And it's very fun. I recommend any teacher, if they want to do that with their kids, it's very fun. They get to do different exercises, stretch, anything of that matter, just to get them motivated. Then not only that, I crack a little jokes with them every now and again. So, it's very fun for them. And, I always walk and monitor them if they need anything. I don't want my kids to ever be afraid to come and talk to me about anything. So, you know, it's not
Yeah.
very hard to keep them motivated in my room.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I've talked to other teachers in the past about being approachable teachers and like motivating students and everything too.
Yeah.
Um, I actually want to talk to you about your decision to become a first grade teacher, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so when I saw you, it was kind of interesting to me because I don't know, maybe I shouldn't think this way, but most elementary and first grade teachers are women, right?
Right.
So I saw a stat online from Zippia, right? They say about
Right.
89% of first grade teachers are women, and a little over 10% of that is male,
Right.
right? So I'm sure it's even smaller for Black males, but how do you feel about that responsibility that you're like inadvertently carrying?
Oh God, it's interesting, especially like now. I am the only male teacher on my hall, and I'm the only male first grade teacher. So to me, and I know other teachers around me, they're very supportive. I'm so grateful to work under such a great admin staff. They're very supportive of me. But I always tell them all the time, I don't know why. I just always feel like it's pressure on me. I have no idea why, but I've always felt like that since the very beginning, since I started. It's like I always have to like go a step further than other teachers. I don't know why. And I tell myself all the time, like, why do I put so much pressure on myself? And the other teachers be like, it's okay, and things of that nature. But what got me started into teaching was a very interesting story. I love telling people this. I was 9 years old and I was in elementary. I was in the fourth grade. And the teachers ended up asking us what we wanted to do or what we wanted to be in our career or whatever. And I noticed that a lot of people were saying they want to be police officers, doctors, lawyers, nurses, things of that nature. But I never not once heard anyone say anything about them wanting to be in the education field. So when it came to me, I'm 9 years old, so I didn't know what I wanted to be. So I just decided to say teacher. And it's like the whole class just like gasped. They were like, ooh. They all like gasped at me. And at the time, I was like feeling embarrassed because I was like, what's bad about being a teacher? I didn't really see what's the harm about it. And I had no idea that many years later that I would go to college for it, stick with it, and that I'm here. So I'm just grateful to God that I just was able to stick through that plan. Like throughout the years, people approach me and be like, you did say you wanted to become a teacher. And then a lot of people still can't even believe that I even went to do it. But as time went on, I didn't even think I wanted to do it. And then I went to high school and I got into teacher academy courses and learned more about that. I went to Head Start, did a lot of student teaching with the kids and stuff like that, learned how to do lesson plans, how the meetings go and stuff like that. And I just got very interested in it. And as time goes on, I just found the joy of it. And, I've really developed a huge passion for it. And even to still to this day, it's days that it might be difficult. It's days that I might come home tired and, when a headache or whatever. But it's definitely rewarding, just to see the smile on the kids' faces. Like no matter what mood I'm in my personal life, I can come to work and they just come up and hug me, look like they're about to tackle me down. I have to tell them all the time, Mr. Allen, I'm a skinny man now. So y'all can't just be running up on me, tackling me like this. I'm gonna fall to the ground. But I just love their hugs and it's everything to me. But I honestly couldn't see myself doing anything else. I really couldn't.
Yeah.
I feel like teaching is indeed my calling.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. It's so funny you had the idea of doing it when you were 9 years old and you were like, what's
Mhm.
wrong with teaching? Now you know everything wrong with teaching, right? No, I'm playing.
Right.
I'm playing. But
Right.
yeah, it's also really cool that you started your trajectory in high school. You were taking education courses in high school. Can you tell me about that?
Yes. I went to the Natchez High School, and at the time, Natchez High School had a program. It was called Fallon Technology Center, and it was right next to the campus. And only a few selective of students got a chance to be in those programs. You had welding, automotive, you had nursing, you had early childhood, you had digital media, teacher academy, and you also had career readiness. And so I was in the teacher academy program and I was in it for about 2 years. And when I first got in, I think I was a 10th grade. Yeah, I was a 10th grader. And I got in and I learned like so much. And at first I kind of felt like the oddball because nobody else in that class wanted to be in teacher academy. I was the only one that was invested in it. I was the only one participating. Everybody else was complaining because they wanted to either be in the other classes, but I really took a lot out of that class. I took it very seriously. Like I was in my books. I was learning how to do lesson plans. The teacher was showing me how to do each step by step, how certain meetings go, how do you address matters with a certain student, hands-on learning. It was time she made me go up there to teach to the class. So I took it very seriously, especially when we went on field trips. That was my favorite part. We used to go to so many Head Start programs and teach with the kids, teach them how to do sounds, talk with them, hug them, laugh with them. So, I definitely found great measures in Teacher Academy. It's what made me the teacher I am today. Without it, I don't even know where I'd be at because with Teacher Academy, and I kind of already had preconceived notions about what it is that I need to do. So once I got into college, I already knew how to do a lesson plan. I already knew how to do this. I already knew how to do that. So it was a piece of cake for me. I just was so grateful for it. So, I'm forever grateful for Teacher Academy. I don't know if it's still going on now. Um, But yeah, that program was incredible. I had fun. If anybody else didn't have fun, I sure did.
Man, no, that's great to hear that you got that start in high school. It's like you hear about STEM academies and like what's the school I was at? It was like a literary school. They prepare you to do things like that. But yeah, it's great
Right.
you're in a teacher program that started you really young.
Right.
Um, I do want to talk more about your journey in education, what you did after high school. But first,
Yeah.
let's hear from one of my sponsors, Teachers of Color Matter.
Friend, we need to talk. As a teacher of color with a social justice mindset, I know if I give big to my students, I also need to replenish big to myself. My Clap for Yourself 5-minute reflection journal is perfect. This journal was designed for teachers of color, so it takes my experiences in the classroom to heart. And friend, this journal has everything. It helps me address feelings of overwhelm, anxiety, and self-doubt. I can either fill out a template on the right side or process a larger issue on the left. The templates bring more intention and success into my day, and I can use the adult coloring moments when I'm calling a parent or during a staff meeting. And Dr. Michelle has written letters to me throughout the book. It's almost as if she's reading my mind. The inspirational quotes remind me that I'm part of a legacy. Representation matters, and I do make an impact. What does your morning routine look like?
Welcome back. So yeah, Montrell, we're talking about your story and your journey in education. So I want to jump ahead a little more. So right now you're currently in school to get your master's degree. And
Yes.
after that, you plan on getting your PhD to become a college professor.
Yes.
That is a huge shift from first grade to college professor. Can you tell me about that mindset? Like what's making you want to do that?
Well, I of course was going back to I'm back in Mississippi State actually for grad school. And I knew I wanted to get a master's in education. I just kind of wanted to get myself out of the box a little bit to try to do something a little different. Cause I was like, I don't know if I ever like teach elementary like forever. I always wanted to see myself level up in education. And so the master's online program, they had a lot of variety of programs I could major in. So I ended up running across one major that really caught my eye. I thought it was very interesting. And it's called the Master of Arts in Teaching in Community College Education. And I kind of picked my brain about it for the longest. I was going between two different majors. I know it was gonna be an MAT, but it was either MAT in secondary education or community college education. I really was looking for elementary education, but they didn't have an online program for elementary education. So as time went on, I kind of sat and picked my brain about it. I only had like a little time because the deadline to register was about this close. So I talked to my friends and my mom and everybody about it, and they was like, go above and beyond. And those words really stuck with me. So it was like telling myself, don't be afraid. It's like you can do it. You put your mind to it, you can do it. So that's what made me pursue it. And so far, I've learned like so much. I have 18 credit hours to go. I will be finishing with that degree in the fall of next year. So I'm very excited about that. Once I get through with that degree, I don't know if I will immediately go into community college. I still want to probably get a couple more years in elementary education. But I at least want to have that degree already. As far as my PhD, I picked my brain about that for the longest. I remember I did like a little video on TikTok about it. I was like, should I get an EDS, which is a specialist degree, or should I get a EDD or a PhD? And so I was getting a lot of comments about that. So I want to go right back to Mississippi State and get a PhD in community college leadership. Because, even though I love education, I have a passion for it, I don't want to always be in the bracket of a teacher. I see other teachers throughout the years and they elevate themselves to the administrative roles and stuff like that. And I always want to see myself in that bracket as well. So, I wanted to do that and learn more about leadership skills, especially with community college leadership. I want to learn more about how it is doing finances, how it is handling student affairs, things of that nature. So yeah, I kind of picked my brain about getting a PhD for the longest, but after a while I was like, I could pursue it. And then I had was on live with my pastor, and he told me something that I know for a fact that nobody else could know because I didn't tell nobody. And so he mentioned to me that God is telling him that I'm having a struggle making a decision. And he told me that God said to make that decision. He said, when it comes to education, go all the way, juice it all. And so I felt that, and that's what's gonna make me pursue it. And it's like, part of me be like, it's a lot, but then the part of me be like, you got this, you can do it. And so when I was on that live, that just made it more special to me. So I'm gonna pursue it, and I'm gonna get that PhD.
Yeah, okay, Dr. Allen, loading soon.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So, man, so one thing I want to talk to you about. So, um, in the past, I highlighted this other math professor, Dr. Simmons. You can watch her interview, graceteacheralltime.com.
Yes.
But we were actually talking about how a lot of college professors, I'm pretty sure she's on the university level, but a lot of university and college professors are hired because of their experience in their field, right? They knew she was a great mathematician, so we're going to have you teach it. They didn't
Right.
really care that she knew how to teach. They just wanted someone who can lecture,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
You coming from the elementary first grade level, you know how to teach. You have that background.
Right.
Do you plan on using that in actual community college or college levels, like actually teaching in like the tangible ways that we learn all the strategies for?
Yeah, absolutely. I always saw myself when I want to start in community college education, I always wanted to teach like educational courses. Like I always dreamed of myself teaching stuff like child psychology or educational technology or science for children, social studies for children, um, teaching other students or other aspiring teachers about the language arts in elementary schools, things of that nature. I never really seen myself teaching nothing else besides something like that. I just always thought that it was very interesting to do. I think that when it came time, because I talked to other professors and they teach like core subjects and stuff like that, but they went to school for it, you know, and I don't know, it varies in certain states where a lot of the professors that I went to school with that taught me in the universities don't even have a doctorate. They have a master's. And I was like, huh? And so they gave us a whole backstory about that. And I said, I always used to thought you had to have a doctorate to teach at the university. And they just have the master's. And they go in and say that they didn't taught for 20 plus years and they have a master's. And that experience alone made them qualified to teach at the university level. But for me, I want to teach at community college. I want to teach aspiring teachers. I don't want to teach like a core subject. I want to teach for aspiring teachers. Upcoming teachers, I want them to come in my classroom. You know what I'm saying? Because especially in community college, in universities, you have that. You have those type of courses. You have those types of instructors. In community college, I never had that type of instructor. I never had a type of instructor that taught about what it means to be a teacher in community college. I never had that. And so for me, I feel like I want to break down that barrier by doing that, especially here in Natchez. As far as I know, we've never had a teacher to do that.
Yeah, and I love to hear that because just like me and my physics classes coming up, like the to me, it didn't seem like the physics professors use those teaching strategies that your high school ones had, right? It would be
Right,
all lectures. So yeah, I really like that you're gonna do the exact same thing, like actually teach people who want to learn how to teach with all the strategies you already have.
right.
Yeah. And another thing, Montrell, I know you have a lot of experience and insight with your young students. So I want to talk to you about this article I was reading from the Washington Post, and it's called Suspended from School at an Early Age, written by someone named Donna George.
Mhm.
And in this article, they talk about a lot of things where researchers and critics are really just questioning whether children early grades should be suspended or not.
Yes.
Right. So I have a few talking points I want to run through with you, but maybe off top, what are your thoughts on that? Suspending your first grade students. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it ever necessary?
To me, and this is just me, I don't think it's necessary. I
Ever?
really don't. Um, it's just according to the the matter, like the gravity of the situation. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of times, like, for me, I never had, like, I've had students that have gotten upset, have thrown tantrums or whatever. They just need somebody to talk to. I just go and take them to the side, give them a pep talk, and they calm for the rest of the day. But you don't have that many teachers that would do that. They see a student act out like that, they immediately want to buzz the office. They immediately want to buzz for security. I'm not going to do that right off because you don't know what that child's dealing with at home. You don't know what's going on with that child in their mind. So I am not that teacher that I'm just going to just jump for security. No, we're going to sit. We're going to talk about it. You're going to calm down. Let me know what's going on. And we're going to get through this. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing that I was touching base on earlier was the fact that I want my kids to be comfortable enough to come to me. Whatever problem they have, come to Mr. Allen. Don't be afraid to come to me. You know, your secret's safe with me. You can talk to me. You ain't got to worry about it going out to to another kid or nothing like that. It's not gonna happen. You should be comfortable enough to talk to me about it. But I don't think that it's necessary. Has it happened at our school? Yeah, it's happened. But as far as me suspending a kid, a first grader, no.
Okay, and so yeah, I'm with you on that. But one of the things I liked about this article is that they gave I think pretty good points for both sides.
Right.
And I want to run through with them because they have some good ones for reasons against suspending and reasons to suspend. I feel like a lot of the ones to suspend are kind of going to fall apart once we start talking about them. But let's start on the easy stuff first. Reasons why you should not suspend a student. So one of them you kind of talked about was from the article, and it's a quote. It says, students have shown that, or studies have shown that suspended students are more prone to low achievement, dropping out of school, and landing in the juvenile justice system.
Mhm.
Right? So I'm sorry, you didn't really mention that one, but I think that's a pretty good point though, right? That whole prison, school to prison pipeline that a lot of people talk about. I feel like this
Yes.
kind of directly relates to it, no?
Yeah, it's pretty true. I mean, you know, we had an incident in the beginning of the school, and this is a new thing with me. I've never had a kid that has to take medication. So, we had an incident. It wasn't my student, but you know, I had to basically take charge that day. And so we had a student that he could be in line with his class, he runs. And one day I had just dropped my kids off at activity. And I was heading back to my room to get started on doing their folders and stuff like that. And I get a buzz. And I was like, Miss Allen, can you come to the front office? And I'm like, what's going on? So I go to the front office, and as soon as I walk out the door, a kid is running in the front of the school. And I'm just like, what is going on here? So I'm sitting there trying to catch him, and I was able to catch him, and he just screaming, yelling. I was like, calm down, what is going on? I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And I'm like, what is it? I was able to get him in the office for him to sit in the principal's office. And that didn't do any good. He just made it just went horrible. It went worse. And I don't know if he got suspended, but he got sent home. And they wanted me to come back and do a narrative, which still to this day, I don't understand why I had to do a narrative.
You were there. Come on.
Yeah, like I get that, but I don't understand why I have to do it because I'm thinking to myself, where was his teacher? He's not in my class. My students are in PE. And that's the part that was going through my mind. I was like, where's his teacher? How did he even get out here in the front of the school in the first place? You know, so that, you know, just mind blow me. I went on here and did the narrative anyway, but in my mind, I was thinking like, why? Like, what is going on here? And so he was gone for like about 3 days. And when he came back, he was a first grader. He came back, and guess who room they decided to put him in?
Your room.
Yes, I was like, oh my God. So they put him in my room, and I kid you not, from the day that they put him in my room, we haven't had any problems ever since.
Okay, so yeah, that's kind of one of these other points too that I want to bring up, right? So another quote from article says that principals said they carefully consider each case and often look to other options involving parents, counselors, creating behavior plans before suspension. But it also seems like another solution, bring them to another teacher's class. Maybe they connect to a little more.
Right. Yeah. But like now he came in my class, he's like the nicest kid ever. And I think that a lot of other teachers just did not want to deal with him because of the incident or whatever. Like I had certain teachers that they're not with the school anymore. They left like in some part like the very next month or whatever, because this is around the time where school had just started. And they never called him by his name, which I didn't respect. They used to call him the runner. I didn't like that. He has a name. Just because the child did that, you don't refer to them as the runner. I found it to be very disrespectful. But yeah, he's basically the sweetest kid ever. He's very attached to me. Like if he has a problem, I told him from day one when he came to my class, if you got a problem, you have full permission to get up out your seat and come to my desk and ask me and tell me what's going on.
See, and that's probably exactly what that student needs.
Yeah.
And one of these other points I want to bring up for a reason to suspend a student that we could probably debunk right now.
Yes.
For that one, we just said in finding different options like banning counselors, behavior plans. One of the reasons why it may be okay to suspend is that some schools rely on suspension because they lack funding for other options. The challenge, they said, is having resources for alternative programs that teach anger management skills, social skills, problem-solving skills, and conflict resolution. So again, I'm thinking this too. What if a school doesn't have a Mr. Allen who can connect with the student? Or maybe doesn't have things to actually address the behavior? Two, that's a good one, huh?
Huh?
That's a good one, huh?
That's a good one. God. I mean, I haven't worked at a school that's experienced that. Like even now, back to the student that I was just talking about, he's currently on a behavior plan. And we go to the guidance counselor for him every Friday to give him updates. So far, he hasn't really done anything wrong from the day he got in my class. He hasn't done anything wrong. So, but from the schools that don't really have the resources,
Yeah.
yeah.
My thing about this, I feel like I've been in enough schools where there are enough resources. Right.
Right.
Like
That's
this
what
is like a non-answer. Like, how do you not have any other teacher? There's no counselor who's only here on Tuesdays. There's no, like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Right. Like this is my second school that I've been to since I've been started teaching. And we always have resources. Like, ooh, that's a lot. Like we have the resources.
Yeah, I feel like there's always something.
Right.
One of the other reasons to suspend students that they said is another quote. It says, still, many educators see suspension as necessary, a strong message about conduct that crosses the line. Many parents too suggest that students who cause disruption in class, no matter what age, need to be removed, especially when a child or teacher has been physically hurt. Many principals view suspension as an important tool. So, Montrell, take a second, step back. Imagine you're a parent of a student who is really disruptive. Or no, sorry, you're the parent of a student who isn't disruptive. Right? So your student is in there to learn, but there's another kid in there who's just like bothering the class and bothering the teacher. As that parent, wouldn't you want them out? Is that a good reason?
Yes. Yes.
I'm setting you up.
But it would be like a yes and no, because yes, because I would want my child to be in a great a great safe learning environment. But I would want to have a conversation with that teacher to figure out what is your classroom management skills? What is going on with that? That's preventing. I get kids act out, but to me, it's about safety. You know what I'm saying? You know, I've heard many incidents about other students getting hurt because a child decided to pick up a desk and throw it. So, you know, I want to have that conference with that teacher and be like, what is it that's going on? You know, I don't mind being a helping hand, because at the end of the day, just like I care about my child, I'm gonna care about all these other kids. They're not mine, but I'm still going to care about them because I have a good heart.
Yep.
And again, we don't need that happening. So, I would want to meet a teacher about that. Yes.
And Montrell, not to interrupt, but that just comes from resources, right? That parent could be a resource that could definitely be used. So there's no lack of resources.
Right.
One other one, I'm going to follow up with that with you, but this may be a hard one, so think about it.
Okay.
This quote from the article says that a chief academic officer for county schools said that suspension is one of the many tools to improve student conduct. Sometimes it's also needed to set a tone in the school or be responsive to the victims. It should be used tactically and strategically. So again, for this one, imagine you're the parent or maybe the teacher of a student who got physically hit by another student. And you want them out?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
I would want, because to me, and I tell my first grader this all the time, you can be kindergarten, first grade, second, third, I do not care. At the end of the day, you be nice to each other. I don't care if you're in my room, whoever room you're in, you be nice to each other. And not only that, my number one rule in my room, and all my kids can tell you, never get physical. Like, to me, that crosses the line. That's at that point, that's the time that you need to take that step further. But for our admin, they don't go directly to suspension. If it gets physical, then maybe. But most of the time, most schools, like one of the resources we have is ISS. Most schools don't have that resource. Most schools mostly want to send their kids home. But we have that resource as well. So it's like, to me, it's like, yeah, they deserve to get suspended because they put their hands on a child, and, they should be, reprimanded for that. But we don't want to keep suspending the child over and over again, because at the end of the day, not only are we cheating the child, but we're cheating ourselves as well. Because every child deserves to learn. It don't matter how bad their behavior is, they deserve to learn. They're going to get their behavior right. They just need somebody to walk and guide them along the way. But if you just see a child and you just automatically say, oh, they're bad, they're disrespectful and stuff like that, or you just be like, you hear that child's name or you see that child's name and you be like, oh, I don't want to deal with that child. No, that's why we're here for. Teachers, we have to have patience. People tell me that all the time. You a teacher? You must have some real good patience. Yes, you have to have patience. If you don't have patience you shouldn't be in this field. You shouldn't be with a child. I don't care how the child's behavior is. You shouldn't be like, oh, I'm not going to deal with it. No, that's not how that works. You should never even majored in this in the first place. But I don't think that every child should be suspended. But when it comes to physical, I feel like a day won't hurt them, or a day in ISS won't hurt them. But I don't want it to be a consistent thing. You know what I'm saying? So
I think that's it. It can't be a consistent thing, right? So you're kind of aligned with this other quote for a reason to not suspend students, but it says, we would never send a child home because a student is struggling with reading, he said. We would never send a child home if that children was they were struggling with math. Why would you send a child home who is struggling with social emotional skills? Right? The reason why they're fighting, the reason why they threw the desk, that's a social emotional skill. And that's something that can be taught in schools. So why would you suspend them for that? Yeah, I'm definitely with you. That's not a valid reason, I don't think.
No, that's a good reason. Everybody has mixtures about it. That's why we have guidance counselors. But even if they don't talk to guidance counselors, I can be the counselor too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's plenty of resources around the school system that can work for their child besides suspending them. I feel like suspending is the last source if you tried everything. But that's our procedure at the school or whatever. If a child gets physical, then they have to do something. They have to face the consequence. But once they come back, or once they get out of ISS, we set up a meeting with them or the parent, and we try to figure out what it was to cause the student to do that, or what's causing the behavior. And 9 times out of 10, we're going to get that solution. I don't think it's right to suspend a child because they're struggling in reading or they're struggling in math, because I have kids that struggle in that all the time. Exactly. And it's just, to me, suspending a child or sending a child out for that is just ridiculous.
No, and I guess the point of that quote was that um, the child needs to learn a social emotional skill,
Right.
right? So there doesn't make sense to suspend someone for not having a skill, because it would be just like suspending them if they can't read, or suspending if
Right.
they can't do math. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But
Right.
one other thing you kind of brought up was sending them home, right? So this last quote I want to bring up for a reason to not suspend a student says that they included children who idled at home for a day or two, and some who accompanied their parents to work, right? So that quote struck me because that's more of an inconvenience to the parent. And the
Right.
young kid doesn't understand, like, why can't I be at school? Like, my dad is now inconvenienced because he either has to take off from work or take me to work.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And also,
Yeah.
from the parents' perspective, I talked to one of my friends who is a parent, and they said if their child got suspended, which hasn't happened, it's embarrassing as the parent. He
Yeah.
said it feels personal because it feels that your home training isn't working right. So
Right.
I feel like things like that is more of a knock on the parent than the student actually getting their punishment, you know?
Right. I can agree with that. I personally have never written up a student ever, because to me, I just couldn't see myself writing up a student. I don't know why, especially my first grade. I just can't never see it. Other teachers do it all the time, like it ain't nothing. But me, I just couldn't. I
Yeah.
can't do it. I mean, because to me, it's like they're kids. They're 6 and 7 years old. Yeah, they just need somebody to talk to. That's all. And most of the times I talk to the parent and try to figure out what it is, what could be the solution with that, and things of that nature. But it's to me, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't see myself suspending the first grader. I couldn't
And
see myself really suspending nobody really because I just couldn't, you know.
I'm not sure. I think that just adds to you being a great teacher. Like, you have alternate solutions that are not as harsh as these things that could set up your students for the prison or class to prison pipeline. Like,
Right.
you know better in different methods. And I applaud you for that.
Yeah, because it's like if you keep suspending a child, it's gonna make that child, the older they get, they're gonna be like, that reputation follows them. That record follows them. So it's like each class they go to, each grade level they go to, the teacher gonna already know who that person is before they even enter the classroom.
Yeah.
And that's not what we want for our children. That's not fair. So I just feel like most teachers today, majority of us take the time with our students, but some of them they don't. I hate to say it, but they really don't. And I've seen it firsthand. It's like I can mention a child name and they like, you talk to that child? That child? That child's horrible. That child got a record a mile long. And I'm like,
That's not what it's about. That's not what you're there for, to remember things.
right.
It's not. Yeah. But really, Montrell, thank you for this. Your thoughts on reasons to not suspend students, along with your path in becoming an educator, your future plans to get your PhD and become a professor for community colleges, are all
Yes.
part of the reasons why I think you might be one of the greatest teachers of all time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And also, thanks to my sponsors like Teachers of Color Matter, Costco, Victorious RED Restoration. We'd actually like to give you this $150 gift card to use with you or your students, whatever you choose.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course. You deserve it.
Thank you. I can throw my kiddos a pizza party.
Hey, there it is. There it is. Or use it on yourself. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, thank you to everyone else for watching The Greatest Teacher of All Time, where I, Quincy Dawson, interview teachers of color, tie up their personalities, strategies, and philosophies on education. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And if you really liked it, leave a comment for me and Montrell to see. Also, if you are the greatest teacher of all time, or if you know the greatest teacher of all time, let me know. Go to greatestteacherofalltime.com and click on Submit a Teacher. Hope to see you soon.